YouTube, we got another nader. Another one. There's so many. There's so many, and I'm having a blast with it. I'm learning. We're getting there. We're getting there. On this one, though, we have El Reno and Piedmont. Piedmont. It has to be Piedmont. I'm going to get roasted in the comment section over this one. You know what? Hey, if I get roasted in the comments, I'm banning everybody. Straight up. I'm just going to ban everybody. It's Piedmont. Piedmont. Anyways, this is another forgotten EF5. It surprises me that any F5 tornado can be forgotten, but apparently that is the thing. I don't know if this happened during like a big outbreak, like 2011 or something. No clue. I actually have zero knowledge of this one. However, this was recommended to me. I can't remember the name of the person, per usual. You know who you are, and I appreciate you. With that said, let's get in here and watch some Piedmont. El Reno and Piedmont.
A tornado spools up near Hinton, Oklahoma. For the next 2 hours, central Oklahoma would be subjected to one of the strongest tornadoes ever recorded. But in order to have one of the most powerful tornadoes ever, you need to have an exceptional weather setup. 2011 was a year of exceptional weather setups.
Oh, this is another 2011, of
outbreaks
course.
In the month of April, including the infamous super outbreak on the 27th, where an unprecedented...
I'm going to say this too. Hey, June 1st, if you pop up on my screen like that again out of left field, we're going to have problems, brother.
4 EF5s and 11 EF4s terrorized and decimated much of the Deep South. The action continued into May, where on the 22nd, a worst-case scenario
we're in May right now, baby.
The city of Joplin, Missouri, marking the 5th EF5.
Joplin. Look, guys, I know a lot of people have been recommending Joplin. I'm going to get to it. The only video I've been able to find, though, is from the Weather Channel. I was kind of hoping, some of the people that I've been watching, to keep watching their stuff and, recommend them, But it may come down to that's the only option. So, but we are going to do Joplin, I promise.
5 of the year. Already, 525 lives were lost to tornadoes that year, making 2011 the deadliest tornado season in U.S. history in 80 years.
My
The
goodness.
Storm Prediction Center forecasters would not have a break after the Joplin event, however, as there was another severe weather system taking shape. This time, though, in their own backyard of Oklahoma.
I can't, dude. I can't. Look, it's just something about, having a person like full screen just staring into my soul.
Prominent, negatively tilted trough progressed overhead, prompting cyclogenesis over the southern high plains. Atmospheric models were in agreement that deep moisture would pool east of the dry line and instability would fester under a stout capping inversion.
Fester.
Daytime heating would enhance this
Adam's
instability
family.
to 4,000 joules per kilogram above the mixed layer. To add to this explosive environment, shear profiles were near perfect for tornadic supercell thunderstorms.
Gotta
With
get
all
that
of in
rotation.
place, SPC forecasters implemented a rare, high risk with the midnight day one
Coach Hill.
outlook,
Every time I see
driven
a
by
high
the
risk,
extreme
I get a Coach Hill.
probability for violent tornadoes. The message was clear for residents and the target was obvious for storm chasers. There was a universal feeling of dread amongst all, as this was the type of setup that screamed
I'm trying not to make eye contact with somebody on my screen.
killer tornadoes. And in a year like 2011, that was the last thing anybody wanted. Shortly before 1 p.m. local time, the SPC instituted a tornado watch with a particularly dangerous situation tag, which is saved for the most potent of severe weather setups. Storms would explode off of the dry line in western Oklahoma, quickly organizing into supercells. At 5:20 local time, the Canton Lake EF3 was touching down, marking it as the first strong tornado of the day. It churned for 13 miles with a lot of its path over Canton Lake. 11 minutes later, and further south, with what would become the main storm of the day would spawn its first tornado west of the town of Lakiba. This EF3 would fortunately only mangle trees and power poles, but it was an appetizer for what was about to follow. Upon the rope out of the
here we go, boys.
EF3, this supercell would
in the famous words of Queso, let's get those dippies on.
Attempt to cycle its mesocyclone. In a rare twist of events, the original mesocyclone refused to quit, spawning the Piedmont tornado. It would quickly strengthen.
Piedmont? Come on, guys. Don't tell me it's actually Piedmont, man. I'm going to look like an absolute idiot in the comment section. I should have looked it up first. I knew it. I sat there and I told myself, I was like, I need to put this thing on Google and make sure I'm saying it correctly. But I wanted it to be a full-fledged, I have no knowledge of this tornado, so it's going to be just raw. I'll drop the ban hammer. I'll ban everybody. Piedmont. It's still Piedmont. I'm going to call it that. I don't care if it makes all of you angry. Piedmont.
Then into a violent tornado, debarking trees within the first few miles of the path. Just north of the tornado is Raxpol, the University of Oklahoma's mobile radar. Tornado expert Howie Bluestein and his team would get a front row seat as the tornado would pass less than a mile to their south. They'd acquire some of the most high-fidelity radar scans of a tornado to date as it would cross Interstate 40. 3 motorists were killed as their vehicles were thrown.
Oh, man. Okay. This thing launched a car into a tree and ripped the tree and its roots up. My God. There's this weird thing that it truly fascinates me. It really does. Of how powerful they are, and to appreciate it, and to kind of be amazed by it. But at the same rate, I don't want to be, because, people got hurt and lost their lives. It's so weird, because I catch myself oh my God, that's, wild and crazy and cool. And as soon as that crosses my mind, I'm like, no, it's not. It's not cool at all. Actually, it's really bad. It's really bad. So if you're ever wondering, if you see me saying stuff like that, okay, I hate it. I really do. Now, I'm fascinated by how these storms work and how powerful these tornadoes get, but I just don't want people to take it the wrong way,
1,000 yards from the highway. A group of industrial buildings just north of the highway were the first structures hit, putting up little fight against the ferocious winds. Adjacent to those buildings was the Cactus 117 oil drilling rig. Cactus was in the process of drilling a new well at the corner of US 66 and North Courtney Road when this tornado came through. The tornado would topple and roll the 1.9 million pound drill, bending and shearing the massive drill shaft. East of the drill was the El Reno.
I'm going to say it. The drill got drilled. A little dad joke humor, okay? All right.
No mesonet site. This environmental monitoring site would take a glancing blow from the tornado, recording a wind gust of 151 miles per hour, the fastest ever wind speed measured by any of the Oklahoma mesonet stations. East of the drill was the El Reno mesonet site. This environmental monitoring site would take a glancing blow from the tornado, recording a wind gust of 151 miles per hour, the fastest ever wind speed measured by any of the Oklahoma mesonet stations.
Dude, the El Reno tornado almost had 300 mile per hour winds at one point. And this was maybe, I don't know, maybe this one just got close enough, I guess.
The supercell now in overdrive, it would spawn a second tornado just north of the Piedmont tornado. In yet another rare turn of events, the tornadoes would Fujiwara about each other, merging into a single tornado.
Ooh.
The parent storm was unfazed, and it plowed east-northeast towards Piedmont. It would miss the heart of town to the west and north, but multiple neighborhoods surrounding the town would bear the brunt of the tornado. Dozens of homes were completely slabbed, and trees debarked or even ground to a stump.
What? Is that... That's a car. Was a car?
Was thrown so violently, its engine block was ripped out of the vehicle.
Oh my God. That is a mangled mess. What I was going to say is that, in previous videos I've been like, the rating system, is kind of weird to me, and it still is. But, what I'm trying to also take in the process, thanks to people in the comments, is you got to also be aware of how those houses may be built. Right, so you could have a clear slab where the house has been completely destroyed and think, oh, it's easily EF5, right? But the house could have been poorly constructed and not tied down properly and things like that. So I'm going to try to be more open-minded and take that in. I'm still going to fuss, right, sometimes. I'm going to be more open-minded and keep that information up there, though. Try to.
Staying south of the town of Cashin, the tornado took aim at Guthrie. The town braced for an impact as a direct hit seemed inevitable. However, the supercell finally began to lose steam. The Piedmont tornado would hit the western half of town during its last moments, causing minor damage before roping out. Its 1 hour and 44-minute reign of terror drew to a close.
That tornado was almost down for 2 hours.
And preceding tornadoes were far from the only tornadoes that day. In total, 49 tornadoes touched down on May 24th. To the south of Oklahoma City, 2 EF4s caused immense damage in the city of Chickasha and the town of Goldsby. While to the east, over in Arkansas, another EF4 would level the town of Denning. By the end of May 24th, 2011, 375 people were critically injured and 18 had lost their lives.
R.I.P.
While the Piedmont tornado did not directly impact a downtown, over its 65-mile-long path, it still managed to utterly devastate hundreds of homes and businesses.
I can't do it, man. Yo, June, out of curiosity, by the way, you remind me of a guy named Frost, who's also on YouTube and live streams. He plays a lot of Rust. And you low-key look like him. Is this like a burner account where you talk about tornadoes, or are you like a brother?
Picked up what was left for pieces, while meteorologists and engineers conducted a survey of the damage.
What?
The evidence left behind painted a bleak
picture.
It
shattered that foundation.
Cementing this tornado as the 6th and final EF5 of 2011. As of May 2024, Piedmont remains the second most recent EF5, further emphasizing the sheer gravity of this tornado's strength. In the darkness of its aftermath, there was still a shed of light. This tornado was observed with multiple high-resolution radars, presenting the opportunity for some serious scientific breakthroughs. The Raxpol team from OU had found wind speeds in the tornado had reached at least 295 miles per hour.
Woo! Wow! 295. Right? I know we've covered several that have that get speeds close to that, but it's still hard to take in. 295 miles per hour. Wow.
Beyond that, they were able to observe storm-scale features and interactions that had yet to be explored in this level of detail, resulting in multiple research papers that painted a better picture of how supercells can spawn, maintain, and end their violent tornadoes. Multiple unique storm behaviors were also captured, including the failed occlusion and tornado merger. These findings helped push the limits of tornado meteorology. Of the 18 fatalities that day, 9 were in the Piedmont EF5. While this is still 9 too many, the total could have been much higher. Long lead times with warnings and strong communication of threats in the immediate wake of Joplin.
Hey! Even on the road, dude. That's cool. I didn't know they did that. Let's go. The warn the motorists.
Contributed to the limited number of lives lost.
Good,
For
good.
example, the Cactus drilling operation had ample time to reach an anchored storage unit. That unit saved the lives of all 12 on site, as it was the only above-ground
Let's
structure
go!
that had survived in miles. Had it not been there,
Let's go. They had a shelter prepared for that situation. They had a good warning system in place, and those guys didn't mess around and they saw cover. Let's go.
the total fatalities could have easily doubled just at that one site alone. The Reno Piedmont tornado made a strong case for being one of the most violent tornadoes in recorded history, but yet the impacts of Joplin just days earlier meant that it would be relegated to its shadow. However, just 2 years later, the town of El Reno would once again be in the spotlight of tornado history.
We've all heard about this one.
Hey folks, just a couple of June 1st admin things that I wanted to bring up at the end of this.
Okay, I think the tornado section of the video's done. Just for the record, guys, June 1st, right here. I know a lot of you have recommended him. I've watched a lot of his videos, obviously. So make sure to check him out. Subscribe, like, just like I just did. Check his channel out, man. He makes amazing content. I had never heard of this one before. Never heard of the Piedmont. I'm going to call it Piedmont because I know it's going to piss you all off. I'd never heard of this storm before, and this was the second to last EF5 to hit since 2013. Is that right? Yeah. And it was part of the 2011 outbreak. I mean, my goodness, 2011 was insane. All these storms seem to have happened in that time frame, which is crazy. Worksite, they had a plan for these people to have shelter. They had a good warning system in place, saved lives, man. And on top of that, the workers took it seriously and got to shelter, right? Guys, I know it's easy to get complacent if you're in these areas and you experience, a lot of false warnings, things don't happen, you get complacent. Take them serious, man, and try to get underground. I know it sucks to, eat up 20, 30 minutes of your time, hurrying up and getting everybody nervous and upset and getting underground. Just to come out and, nothing happened. I know it sucks, but it's better safe than sorry, right? Better safe than sorry. And thankfully, this storm didn't hurt as many people as it could have. One is one too many. And RIP to those that lost their lives during this storm. But, yeah, man, take your warnings seriously. Take them seriously. Get underground. Worksite. Hey, and also to the people, they have the road system with the little lights above letting you know that, hey, you on the road, there is a tornado warning. Keep your eyes open, right? Maybe pull over and start looking around and see it. Do you see anything that you might need to pay attention to, right? Good stuff. Or, hey, you might be going through a town that has like a public storm shelter. So you can just pull off, go get in shelter until the warning and so on is done. So, whoever does that. And to June, I think you're Frost. Or you're his brother. Some form of relative. I can feel it. All right. I appreciate you all watching. If you enjoyed the video, like, subscribe, and all that fun stuff. And we'll see you in the next Nader video.